Thank you so much for everyone being here. I'm very, very happy to have 4 distinguished guests with us today. So I'll be very quick with my introduction. I'm Johanna Lerfel. I'm Regional Counselor for Health in the Middle East. I'm based in Riyadh and I cover 9 countries in the region. My mission are from global health to setting up cooperation between France and the 9 different countries. Today, I also want to thank Business France for this opportunity to have again this panel. Healthcare is a very important topic for Vision Golfe, so thank you again, Business France, for this opportunity. So the aim of today's panel will be to explore how healthcare partnership between France and the Gulf country are evolving. We used to have, years ago, decades ago, a traditional, I would say, commercial relation. And now we are more seeking, and we have actually a long-term strategic cooperation that focus on resilience, innovation, and value creation. And also, what is remarkable is that the Gulf country had a remarkable healthcare transformation. It's now one of the primarily destination of healthcare products, services, and innovation, and Gulf countries are strategic healthcare partners with a lot of innovation that are coming to life in the Gulf countries. The total expenditure of the GCC on healthcare are around 109 billion per year, which is one of the biggest markets, more attractive for companies, and it's expected to evolve. So I know a lot of French companies are seeking to set up a new partnership with Gulf countries, and the aim also today is to explore that and to see what is going to happen, what we think is going to happen, to see actual partnerships that are going live in the Gulf countries, and also to maybe answer some of your questions, how to be the best partners in a region where innovation is very strong, a region that really know what they want and where they want to be. So to start now, I will ask my colleague here today to introduce themselves very quickly, but I think it will be more dynamic if they do it themselves. Please, Dr. Fadi, you work for Lifera, if you don't mind.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to appreciate the invitation by Business France and being present here with you all today in Vision Golfe. Fadi Al-Bhiran, I'm the Group Chief Executive Officer of Lifera Group, which is a PIF company focused with a mandate to further build out the capability in the biopharma sector within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The ambition and the mandate behind the inception of Lifera really comes when we look at the private sector in the kingdom. It's done very well. However, when we look at the ambition of the leadership of the country in line with Vision 2030, there's a lot more that they expect the kingdom to be doing. So when we look at the biopharma sector in specific, there are still many opportunities. Many gaps that need to be filled, and our job in Lifera is to really be a catalyst to drive and grow the sector further, primarily looking at localizations and looking at international players that have already done well in this space and how we can attract them and bring them and partner with them within the kingdom to advance our localization agenda. Very quickly, in terms of Lifera and our current mandate, it's really broken up into a few different verticals. The first one is the biologics vertical, where we focus today on the localization of insulin, where we have a partnership with an international organization, and we've been doing that for a few years now. The second aspect of our biologics vertical will be the establishment of a CDMO that will be located in Jeddah, where today we are in the process of bidding with various international companies on the localization of vaccines and various other biologics and biosimilars as well. The second vertical is the genomics vertical, where we're looking at how the kingdom can advance genomic sequencing and how we can leverage the data that we get from genomic sequencing to then further establish discovery, R&D, establishment of new medicines and novelties. And then we look at a third vertical, which is cell and gene therapy, which is something that we will start in 2027. And the whole aspect and notion of research and development and new medicines is what we refer to as our fourth vertical. So I hope that gives you a good overview of what Lifera is and what our mandate is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fadi, and I can't wait to ask you my first question. That will be for you. Stéphane from Sanofi, if you don't mind.
Yes, sure. Bonjour, good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Stéphane Barthes. I'm a global franchise head taking care of our vaccine portfolio, so supervising the development across the value chain, working very closely, of course, with different stakeholders, different health stakeholders, to ensure that access and healthcare policies are implemented and met on unmet health needs. We have been a strong partner in immunization for decades, and from my background, I'm a pharmacist and I have an MBA.
Thank you so much. Maybe Bob from Apex?
Thank you, Joanna. I'm scared that you balance the pharma now with the healthcare. So my name is Bob Issa, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Apex Health. Apex Health is a Qatari-based Qatari company. We pride ourselves to be the fastest growing healthcare organizations in the MENA region. Under 3 years, we moved from 0 into 8 hospitals across 4 countries. We have 2 models. We either build and operate hospitals and medical institutions, or we partner with Ministry of Health in governments to manage and operate hospitals. Our footprint now is in Qatar, Iraq, Libya, Algeria, with more 2 to 3 countries before the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to go deep into pharma and hospitals, and to go back to pharma for the presentation, the other Stéphane, but nonetheless, from BD Pharma.
So, good morning, everyone, and thank you for the invitation to this panel. So, I'm from BD, a medical technology company born about more than 100 years ago. And I'm specifically representing the entity, the division dedicated and designed for pharmaceutical industry. We are addressing all pharmaceutical industry who have injectables in their portfolio or in their pipeline of development. We are manufacturing and distributing injectable devices such as auto-injector, pens, and our core product is the glass PFS. So PFS stands for pre-fillable syringes, because today for injecting a drug, the traditional way of injecting a drug is to use drugs into a vial or a bottle. Then the practitioner, the doctor, the nurse, they have to take a plastic syringe to assemble a needle, to pull the drug into the syringe, to do the manual and visual dosing, change the needle, and then inject the patient. The PFS is the way we are delivering syringes to the pharmaceutical industry. The industry is filling the drug directly and then putting on the market ready-to-be-used syringes. So then for the doctor, the nurse, they just have to open it and inject immediately, which is much safer.
Thank you very much, Stéphane. So now to start and to go deep on this panel, Dr. Fadi, I will have a question that I think will interest everyone. We see that Saudi Arabia is one of the strongest examples of healthcare transformation in the region through Vision 2030, through your national biotech strategy. All of that reflect the kingdom investing heavily in healthcare, life science, localization, as you also said, digital health, innovation, public-private partnerships. Knowing all of that, I would be very happy to know when it comes about global biopharma companies such as Sanofi, which is also present today, And looking at Saudi Arabia today, what makes Lifera a partner of choice for the French flagships when it comes to localization rather than simply a market access partner?
Thank you, Joanna. So let me maybe start at the macro level before even zooming in on Lifera specifically. I think first and foremost, we look at what makes the kingdom attractive at the macro level. And once again, I'll start with, in my opinion, the most ambitious leadership of any nation exists today in the kingdom. And the Vision 2030, which is spearheaded by His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, which started in about 2016. Once again, we have seen so much execution and transformation across a number of different industries, whether we're talking about economic transformation, cultural transformation, when we look at diversity off of oil and diversification of non-oil revenues. The kingdom today, when we look at the healthcare transformation, the quality of life transformation, the transformation in industry and manufacturing, and the growth across all of these different sectors, makes it a very appealing and exciting market to be participating in. When we zoom in on healthcare and life sciences, you want to be in a nation where policy, regulation is also transforming and is keeping up to date. And when we look at the Ministry of Health, when we look at the SFDA and the advancements and the transformations they've undergone over the past few years, once again, those, all of that transformation and those changes only make it easier for whether the private sector existing in the kingdom or international foreign investors and foreign companies that want to come into the kingdom to go about operating in a much easier, more efficient, more effective manner. So that on its own also is extremely attractive. When we look at all of the modernization of the cities and the attraction as well, and we heard from our colleagues in the earlier panel, whether we're talking about CAFT or the King Salman International Airport as examples, what the Royal Commission of Riyadh City is doing, and there's many other examples across the kingdom. Once again, that makes it very attractive for foreign investment and foreign companies to also come, because when companies want to come to the kingdom, they're not just looking at the investment, but they're looking at their capability and their people to come into the kingdom, and they want to ensure that, once again, the home for their employees is also very attractive and is a place where the quality of life is superb. And I think all of that today is what we see within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Zooming in on Lifera very specifically, once again, the fact that we are a PIF company means that we have access to our PIF sister companies as well. And when we look at companies, just as examples, such as Humane, focusing on artificial intelligence, when we look at Lean, a company that's looking at health informatics and health data, when we look at NUPCO, which is the procurement company of all medical supplies and pharmaceuticals, as examples, being a part of that ecosystem itself as well is part of the value proposition that we also bring to any partner that wants to come and work with Lifera. Market access is absolutely not what we're looking for. Market access exists today, and it's already there, and any company can come into the kingdom and access the market and sell their goods. What we're looking at is how we can take all of these enablers that I talked about at the macro level and the micro level and partner with an organization to advance the biopharma sector. And once again, it starts with localization. And localization has a huge impact when we're talking about capability building, when we're talking about advancing quality, advancing the systems, maturing the regulatory aspects as well and the policy aspects as well, because these organizations come from different experiences and have gone through different practices. And for us, it's about learning and taking the best of the best from all of these different experiences and building something that doesn't need to necessarily start from scratch, but obviously start and leapfrog and advance further. So those are vital aspects of the value proposition that we believe Lifera brings to any partner looking at it. But as I said, it's not about localizing only. It's about advancing the agenda. It's about how we can then leverage expertise from organizations such as Sanofi and others to then also advance therapeutics and look at R&D and work together hand in hand to take that agenda forward.
Thank you so much. It's true that this transformation is amazing, and I can testify as I am based in Riyadh. I would also, in mirror, now ask Stefan, how does Sanofi envision its role as a strategic partner in this exciting journey, particularly when it comes about collaborative initiative like your partnership with Lifera, and what kind of opportunities, I would say, do you see for driving excellence in Saudi and in the region?
No, thank you for that question. And building on what was just mentioned before, I think when we look at it for us at Sanofi, and you know we are a well-established French company, we multinational pharmaceutical company, we have been present for more than 50 years in the region. And I think one of the important aspects to understand, or that we feel here very strongly, is that we're committed for the long term. And we have been in the region for more than 50 years. We were the first company actually to localize manufacturing, and those are strong roots for us to bring it to the next level, to foster innovation at a moment in time where there's a very strong acceleration in terms of healthcare. And just to illustrate that, I think when we look at the ecosystem last year, we announced additional investments. The second aspect, I think, which is essentially important, is being serious about it and prioritize. We clearly see an opportunity of growth, of innovation in the region, and the region is for us one of our key markets and one of our top priorities. And the entire company is mobilized through the entire value chain, from R&D to manufacturing, to make it happen and transform. A good example for that is actually last year, at the end of the year, we signed an MOU in presence of our chairman of the board, Mr. Oudéa, the PIF, and the Minister of Health and Industry, to foster that and secure the acceleration when we look at the future. You were mentioning excellence, quality, and I think as a company, what we've seen, we also need to be ready to drive jointly that agenda. We've seen in our partners a strong willingness to raise the standards. And clearly the region has a strong leadership in raising those standards in terms of quality, in terms of follow-up and innovation. And what we've seen is that the discussion that we're having together around those standards, being ready also to be challenged, is really appreciated and is driving really coming closer together on those essential aspects. Of course, there's also a bit of resilience, particularly in times where the industry is contracting and there are challenges. But again, this is not for quick win. This is for long term. We're serious about the ambition that we have. And let's not forget that we also have the bilateral relationship between France and the region that we can leverage, and that for French company should be really seen as a competitive advantage.
Thank you very much. And thank you for what you said, especially saying raising the standard. I think it's in raising the quality, raising the ambition. I think it really defined well the region. And I'll go back to you, Dr. Fadi, because I'm very happy to see that you've got a partnership which is working. And something that could interest all the participants today is what key capability, commitment does Lifera prioritize when you are selecting strategic partners in Saudi? On terms of product localization, but also on terms of capability, quality system, Saudi talent, and long-term resilience, which was also something highlighted by Stefan.
So thank you, Joanna. I think the first thing I would start with is we look for partners that want to have skin in the game, and that's what true partnership is about, where we win together, we succeed together, and hopefully don't fail together. But we're not looking at partnerships from we hear a lot about people referring to partnerships, but in reality, when you really look at it deeply, it's very transactional. So we look for partners that are aligned with us on our vision, aligned with us on our short-term plans, but more importantly, our long-term aspirations. And we look for partners that really believe in the kingdom and the capability and the enablers that we bring, and the region as a whole, wanting to make the entire region and the kingdom be at the forefront of various industries. The fact of the matter is when we look at the kingdom specifically and our advancements in medicine and science, one can only be very proud of what we've already achieved. We have a number of different medical institutes that are globally renowned. We have a lot of research that's ongoing that is, once again, top-notch at the highest level of citations when you look at publications and R&D. And we look for partners that can come and collaborate with us and only take that to the next level. So we already believe we have a very, very strong foundation when it comes to science and medicine, healthcare, and life sciences. We know for a fact that there are other pockets and niches on a global context that can only complement what we're doing. So how can we actually work together in collaboration, in concert, to further advance the agenda of the sector that we're focusing on in biopharma? With respect to if I want to talk about localization, advancements of quality and standards, and I think we already talked about that, and how can we push the envelope, and how can we speed up things like clinical trials and accelerate that with the advancements of technology, with the experiences that partners bring from abroad. Those are obviously all aspects that we look at. And then the advancements of R&D and establishing new therapies and therapeutics is another thing that we look at. Building our capability, and once again, we have a very strong foundation of capability and human capability, and we believe that our most valuable asset in the kingdom is our people and our human capability, their ambition, their excitement, the energy that they bring, the fact that the largest segment of our population is below the age of 32 on its own tells you, that there's a very, very bright future ahead for the kingdom. So we look for partners as well that want to further advance our capability as well. And as much as we have great educational institutes, it's also about learning other things that we may not necessarily had the opportunity to experience in the kingdom. Take that, build on top of our foundation, and then further advance that. So when we look at partnerships, once again, it's about skin in the game, it's about long-term aspiration, it's about aligning on culture, on vision, and ensuring that we can actually work hand in hand, succeed together, and make a huge impact for the sector.
Thank you so much. I will have a last question for you, Stefan, regarding that partnership, because we talk about future, and we can also today talk about it with a group, a French group, which is implanted in Saudi, which has offices, people working for Sanofi since decades. So on your side, this journey today is particularly exciting. There is a lot of things happening. And how do you see opportunities to drive excellence in the region in the years to come, in the future?
Yes, no, thank you, Joanna. And just to come back to the energy, I was recently there, and of course, you feel the energy every day, and you see it's really moving super fast. And so, coming to your question, I think how we see those partnerships, it's really a catalyst at a very defining moment, and it's really bringing it to the next level. I think when we join hands together for the long term, really working together on understanding what are the and co-constructing a roadmap jointly about what is the vision, what are the needs, and also what are the capabilities that are existing, what are the global competencies we can bring to the countries, that helps us. And that helps us to define our level of investment in terms of manufacturing, but also going forward in terms of R&D and other capabilities when we look at that. Because this is how really, by defining a clear roadmap, a joint roadmap, we're able to move and to move fast. I think coming on the element of the excellence, very clearly the made in GCC is a platform. It's a stamp for excellence. It also is, and we look at this really from our perspective, an additional investment to expand capabilities and ensure a presence that goes beyond the kingdom, responding to health needs that exist around, of course, around the region, but also globally. And I think we discussed a lot, and I agree with you, this is not just about manufacturing. It's essential in the value chain, but the value chain is complex. The next paradigm shift is really around innovation and bringing the innovation. And for us, being in a position to support and develop with the expertise that exists locally an R&D hub at a point of time where the biopharmaceutical ecosystem is moving very fast, where a lot of innovation is happening, having a vision and an ambition to develop this, building on the capabilities that exist and bringing it to the next level is absolutely a priority when we look forward, because that brings the entire biopharmaceutical value chain together and drives impact.
Thank you so much, Stéphane. And by the way, talking about building up capability, we will de-zoom a little bit on pharma. And, and I have a question for you, Bob. So you work on infrastructure, you work on cross-border infrastructure in the region. And at Apex Health, you are building up across 4 markets, as you said before. There is different regulatory environment, different maturity, different condition to work with those countries. What are, to you, the key, I would say, condition? Is it regulatory? Is it talent? As we said, for Saudi, there is a strong amount of talent on this market. Is it investment, also time scale? What does turn a partnership into a sustainable local ecosystem rather than just a dependency?
Thank you, Joanna. So first of all, there is no one formula that fits all. Every market is different, the maturity is different. I'd like to pick up from what Fadi says on wants to partner where they have the skin in the game. We believe that we build with the market, not for the market. And when we go in, we go with a commitment that we're going to go with regulatory adherence, talent development and capacity developments where needed, and most importantly as well, supply chain interactions. This is how you build a resilience for your business within that market. Probably the most important things I want to tap on is regulatory kind of governance, because we cannot impose a certain country's kind of governance on another. We offer and we bring a governance structure and we share clinical standards. Let's take, for example, our latest hospital, which is going to be open less than a year from now in Algeria. It's a 300-bed tertiary hospital. But from day one, we actually engaged with the government. We made sure that our supply chain are from Algeria. The talent development, the capacity development happens there. This is, you don't actually extract value, you build capacity within those markets.
Thank you so much. There is one idea that I see in all of your intervention for the moment. It's like sovereignty / self-sufficiency. We feel that GCC's push for self-sufficiency, that means that countries do not just want to build hospital or local manufacturing, as you said, Dr. Fadi, or life science capability. How do you balance between the speed of capital development, I would say, with the passions that is important and required to build, as we said, resilient, localized supply chain?
I think the core line here is you build capacity and capability as you're building facilities. Because if you're too fast on capacity building, then you create dependency. And if you're too slow, you lose competitive advantage. So you need to build that capacity as you're building the capability. Other thing is, when you're entering a market, and let's say the Saudi market is very mature, and as Dr. Fadi said, the capability is very strong there. When you go there, such a market, you're competing on those great talents that any other competitor is going after. So you have to create that competitive advantage and offer that kind of progressions for those talents for you to come to you and for you to retain them.
Thank you so much. I have a question now. Just before Stefan, just one very quick question, Bob. How does this commitment get tested?
It is tested through retention. It is tested through adherence to the governance. It is tested, and how do you create those jobs, whether they're targeted, whether they're kind of direct jobs or non-direct jobs as well.
So yeah, this post is very interesting because you can see that in GCCs there is a lot of requirement, a lot of ambition, but also of involvement needed, and it's tested. You need to be the best partner. So now I have a question for you, Stéphane. So you work for BD Pharma, which is a very strong French group with an international presence. And what could be interesting is from your experience of many different markets, how do you see this evolution and the development of the pharmaceutical landscape in the GCCs region in your point of view, which is manufacturing also? So I think it could be a very value added.
Yes, thank you, Joanna, for the question. So I would speak about the injectable market because this is the one I'm dealing with. So I would say that on that market, we see clearly that the talents, the expertise, the knowledge is there. There is a dynamic. And from the first time we start exploring that region, about 15 years ago, only 1 or 2 companies were locally producing injectables. And today, there are tens. So really, the localization is one very key observation today. It has been accelerated during the COVID or just after the COVID period. So this is the first. The second, seen from our side, very significant vision is the research for the highest possible quality. So at each meetings, each discussion with pharma companies locally, immediately the first question coming to the table is, what is the best product quality that you can offer at first? So really companies are seeking for the best quality of products, of components, of whatever capabilities. And the third one is about the strategy around very modern and complex molecule to develop at first. From my experience in other markets, when a company wants to start producing injectables, they start with, I would say, basic and easy molecule. And then after a few years, when they get used to it, they are envisaging to develop more complex molecules. In the GCC, companies are immediately targeting very complex molecules like monoclonal antibodies for chronic disease or peptide for obesity or diabetes treatment. So at first, this is the first objective. So I would say that the 3 main observations are localization with the highest quality and focused on very modern and complex molecules.
Thank you so much. But talking about complex molecules and complex processes, it's a question come. What about tech transfer in the region? You are a tech transfer company, and what do you think about tech transfer in the region, and what matters the most when you target a pharma market? What is the importance of transfer?
To be clear, for us, addressing a market like GCC, one of the main objectives is developing business. But really what matters the most for a company like BD and for me is the patient. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the chain, there are patients who need to receive safe, efficient, and in a good way treatment. So really, we are definitely convinced that if we are grouping all our capabilities, all our expertise on each individual sector, and we are sitting around the same table, putting everything on the table and sharing, we can reach that objective to deliver a good treatment for patient and efficient treatment. So definitely, partnership is for us the key word for addressing that market. So I would even summarize this in one slogan, like alone you can go fast, but together we think that we can go far.
It's a good summarizing. Thank you very much. So we will now have a last question and a last topic, but please, gentlemen, feel free to add on this topic, because we will talk about AA and digital health. It's something which is we can see in the Gulf countries more and more stronger than before, and also we see that there is a lot of new research centers that are created, I would say, almost every day in the Gulf countries. There is a lot of investment, people, money, but like we see that this question will be a part of the tomorrow's sovereignty of those countries and a part of their strategic asset, and a lot of laboratories, I would say, studies are created and already creating a lot of value. So, Bob, I would like to ask you, how do you see on your side French expertise as a company based in Qatar and working in different countries? How do you see this French expertise in health tech and data could be useful to the GCCs?
That's interesting questions. Look, data, this is everyone's worrying about. This is the capital of everything in any business now that we're talking about. And the GCC is driving healthcare data and behind it in a really, really kind of strong manner. Now, let's be kind of frank. There isn't a single market that can do one thing alone. And then how France could actually benefit from that is balancing innovations with governance. I mean, the GTRP, the General Data Protection Regulation that's been kind of applied in Europe, especially in France, can actually offer that trust to GCC companies, but balancing the innovations and the trust. Because at the end of the day, companies, especially healthcare companies, they look after patients and patients' data. And they want to know that the people that they're working with them, that how do they take control of these data and how they implement these data. So what moves the needle is not software licensing only, it's that capability building that create the real partnership and trust between the two countries, or the two regions.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you want to add something. If not, I have a last question for you guys, gentlemen, which is very quick, and I was thinking it could be very interesting if it was spontaneous, but we have been talking about the aim on being long-term. So it will be, for you, what would define, looking at 2035, a truly French GCC's healthcare partnership successful? Because we do also have many different partners, companies in the room that are looking to explore GCC's market. So right now we can tell them, you need to think long-term. It will require a lot of investment on your side. You need to be there to see people, to talk with people, to discuss, and to improve. That's what we expect from you in the GCCs. But if you have other tips to give them to be successful, I don't know if somebody will start or want to start.
Thank you, Joanna. I think you mentioned it. Once again, seeing is believing. So we hear a lot about different pockets of the world through different sources of media, etc. But the reality is being on the ground and actually seeing things with your own eyes and hearing things with your own ears, and engaging and interacting with individuals on the ground is extremely different than what you may or may not see through other people's eyes. Interpreting things, every one of us comes from a different background, different culture, different education, different upbringing, and once again, the way I interpret things is very different than the way someone else interprets things. So I think giving yourself an opportunity, getting on a plane, going to the region, in our case, going to the kingdom, seeing it, feeling it, will truly give you a very, very different perspective. I think the minute you'll walk into the airport, you'll get a sense of that energy. You'll get a sense of the enthusiasm and the ambition that is there. A few weeks ago, I went to the Red Sea for the first time that I've been to the Red Sea. As a national, I was extremely impressed. I was extremely astonished by the way we were welcomed there, the experience, the hospitality, the journey itself. Just from getting off from the airport and getting into the resort was a tremendous experience that I'm extremely gracious and proud to say that we have gotten to that level. So seeing is believing, but once again, patience is a virtue. And if you think that coming to the region or coming to the kingdom, you're going to come for one visit and you're going to have a few meetings and you're going to walk away with a deal, good luck. And I honestly mean that, because once again, we're not looking for transactional partners. We're looking for people that really want to invest their time, invest their soul, for the sake of the kingdom, for the sake of the region. So if you're going to come there and say, we're going to get a business development budget and we're going to get an approval and I'm going to promise my boss that I'm going to come back with a deal, good luck. That's not going to happen. Once again, the level of maturity, the level of capability, the level of negotiation strength that we have reached as a kingdom is extremely high. We know who's in it for the long run. We know who's really here to just come in and fly back, and that's not what we're seeking. So I'll conclude with one thing, which is, and I say this every day, which is there's no better time than investing in the kingdom than today. And the fact that I say that every single day means that things are only getting better, greater, and brighter every single day. So don't lose out on the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
I think I'm going to second what Fadi said about seeing is believing. And such a forum is great because we're interacting from different countries from the GCC, we're interacting with French companies and expertise as well. But having such a forum as a roadshow within the local countries, and seeing is believing, as said. I mean, we're building hospitals that beyond belief, we're building 7 and 8 stars hospitals that you don't actually see anywhere else in the world. So come and see them and see how can you offer and what you can offer to an up-and-coming region, an up-and-coming country like Qatar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen?
Yes, as a French company, since we are dealing with GCC and all the Middle East, we learn a lot. And I think a few very simple tips is that first, it's very important to understand from the beginning that you don't conduct business in the same way in the GCC or in the Middle East as we can conduct business in Europe or US. So it's very specific, and you have to think differently. And I think the key words are flexibility, to adapt also, and to be solution-oriented. There is never problems, there are only solutions. But every day it can change very quickly, and adapting is very, very, very important.
Thank you very much.
For sure, adapting, and I think that is also when a Vision 2035, lots of momentum, so maybe the vision can come through earlier. It's about the acceleration of the innovation, of course, for the population in the region, but beyond. And I think that's, at the end of the day, it's innovation biopharmaceutical for the patients who are waiting.
Thank you very much. So I have 2 last things to tell you. First of all, because in healthcare we put partnership in action live, I will just give the mic 2 seconds to Oscar Wendell from Global Health Stratolog that will announce you a partnership between France and Saudi for the next Global Health in Saudi in October.
It's really enjoyable to listen to this conversation, and that's what I'm here to announce. Global Stratologs. I'm the chairman of Global Stratologs and the newly launched Global Health Stratologs. We are partners with Vision Golfe for the 2nd year and the intelligence partner of Global Health exhibition that takes place on October the 27th to the 30th. And today I'm pleased to announce the upcoming report roadmap to entering the Saudi healthcare market. It is a partnership between Global Health Exhibition as well as MedEdge MEA, and it will be launching at the Global Health Exhibition in Riyadh this October. Global Health Stratlogs is a strategic intelligence organization focused on healthcare market entry in the high-growth markets. Our partnership with Global Health Exhibition, organized by Tahaluf, an Informa company, gives this report something rare. It pairs independent analysis with direct access to the platform where Saudi healthcare partnerships are actually formed. Global Health Exhibition has become the region's definitive meeting point for healthcare leaders, investors, and innovators. And the 2025 edition drew over 130,000 attendees from 46 countries, more than 2,000 exhibiting brands, and $35 billion in deals announced across hospital infrastructure, life sciences, and strategic funds. The report is a practical guide organized into 6 chapters that walks a company through the full entry life cycle and makes the strategic case for Saudi Arabia. We wrote this because the Saudi opportunity is genuine and rarely self-explanatory, and success there depends less on the strength of your product, but also as well as understanding the market intimately with presence. Saudi Arabia is the largest healthcare market in the region, accounting for roughly 60% of the GCC healthcare expenditure. And I'm very happy to be partnering with Business France in organizing a roundtable discussion at the Global Health Exhibition this year to open up opportunities for French companies. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Oscar. So I would... Wait. So to finish, I just would like to give you a rendezvous at Global Health soon. And gentlemen, I hope next year at this time at Vision Golf we could be together on the stage and see how it evolves and have new announcement of partnerships, of business, of value creation. So thank you so much, and I hope to see a lot of projects grow in the coming months, years. Thank you.